Hello everyone, I am Premalata, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering from Avnashlingam University, Coimbatore. Today we are going to learn about various types of plans used for building construction. Before going in detail, let us have an introduction on importance of planning. Build cities and towns, usually an architect or the town planner plans and designs the buildings. Planning is a process of thinking by making a space functional considering the user's needs. It's a part of total architectural design. A bad plan can never produce a good plan. A well-conceived plan is an essential element of architecture. It establishes the size, shape, position and relations of various residential areas, including the kinds of open spaces that are created while relating the dwelling units to another. The unit plan the kinds of internal spaces required within the dwelling to make it an architectural design. There are certain general principles or factors which an architect should bear in mind while planning a structure. These principles are not rigid like the laws of mathematics or physics, but they are very general nature and they have to be applied on individual merits only. The setting of plan of the building on its site with reference to the directions is known as orientation, and it plays a great role in increasing its utility from the view of climatic consideration. However, an orientation of the building may either be dedicated by the prevailing circumstances or it may be decided by choice. In the former case, the plan is provided with elements which would make the orientation as comfortable as possible. In the later case, maximum advantage is taken of the choice granted in the orientation of the building. Sufficient number of windows and ventilators at suitable level from the floor should be provided to cause movement of air, developing comfortable conditions inside the building. The overhanging of roofs on south and west sides will help in protecting the walls from the rain. To maintain their comfortable temperature inside the building, it is necessary to construct the long walls of the building towards north and south, and the short walls on the other hand should be placed towards east and west. If the ground surrounding the building is provided with grass or trees or vegetation, it will considerably assist in reducing the temperature inside the building. The orientation of the building should be such that advantage is available for enjoying the natural born breeze. A residential building indicates a unit designed for the residence of human beings on a permanent basis or for a considerable time. Therefore, it is necessary for the architect to study in detail the requirements and necessities of type of family likely to occupy the residential building. Thus, the residential building ought to be designed on a basis of a family as a unit. Every unit will have its own identity depending on the site conditions, kinds of occupants, standards of accommodation required, size of family, financial condition of the occupants. The minimum requirements for a family unit are living room, bedroom, kitchen, dining, toilet, staircase and portico. While planning a residential building, the factors such as aspect, circulation, economy, elegance, flexibility, furniture requirements, grouping, privacy, prospect, roominess and sanitation are to be considered. Let us see one by one. Firstly, aspect means the regulation of admitting more or less sunshine in the room. It develops hygienic conditions and imparts a cheerful air to the room. Then proper provision of circulation makes the building comfortable and convenient. There are two types of circulation. They are horizontal circulation and vertical circulation. Horizontal circulation is on the same floor and it includes passages, corridors, halls and lobbies. Vertical circulation provides access to upper floors by constructing staircases or lifts. Next important factor is economy. It is necessary to provide an economical project under given conditions and circumstances. The term elegance is used to indicate the architectural effect produced by elevation in relation to width, height, positions of doors and windows, materials employed in construction of exterior walls. The result of elegance is aesthetics, and without the aesthetic sense, the elevation will be devoid of elegance. Flexible design should be such that with minor adjustments it becomes possible to satisfy future needs when the occasion arises. Every room of a residential unit has to perform certain function for which necessary furniture are required. The placing of various rooms of a structure in properly correlation of their functions and in due proximity with each other is known as grouping, and the correct grouping grants the status of a balanced design. One of the most important requirements of good planning is the privacy offered to the occupants, and it should not be confused with seclusion, which indicates total isolation. The term prospect is used to mean the external views as seen from certain rooms of the building, and roominess refers the effect derived from space of a room. Sanitation is used to mean architectural hygiene, and it includes cleanliness, lighting, sanitary units and ventilation. By keeping all factors in mind, now let us learn how to prepare and present our ideas concerning space planning and designing. There are different types of plans that should be used for presentation of ideas to understand how your plan would look when it is built. Now let us see types of plans. Proper planning is mandatory for a strong and everlasting construction. The type of plan varies with the type of building, and the legal approval for a construction highly depends on the meticulous plan encompassing the entire area of utility. Any deviation in the building plan results in an unorganized construction, thereby leading to the formation of a weak structure. This may also result in higher economic loss as well. Let us see the various types of plans necessary for the construction of a building. First one is site plan, second floor plan, third one is cross-sectional plan, then fourth is elevation plan, fifth is perspective plan, and the last one is landscape plan. From the above, site plan, floor plan, cross-sectional plan and elevation plan are to be submitted to the local authorities to seek approval for the building construction. Let us see one by one in detail. The first type of plan is site plan. Site plan is a plan drawn to show the location of a proposed building in the plot with reference to the surrounding plots and nearest street or road from which access to be building plot. This plan has to be secured from the local authorities with its survey field number. Site plan is indeed an imperative basic plan, and legal approval depends on the purpose for which the proposed site is to be used. The environment surrounding the site decides whether the plan could be approved for residential construction or for industrial approval. The site plan provides following information such as size of the plot, survey field number, or shortly it is called as SF number of the said plot, and also for surrounding plots. Access to the plot is shown by the nearest street or road. Setbacks means that is open space between the building and boundaries of the plot. The exact location of the proposed building are shown in the plot. The proposed drainage lines with inspection chambers and its joining place with the corporation or municipal street gutter are shown with appropriate symbols. Source of water supply is shown. The north direction is marked by an arrow with N at the head of the arrow. The trial pit results are also shown, indicating type of soil and its depth. It helps in designing the foundation of the building. The above details are necessary for submitting the plans to the local authorities for getting approval for construction of a building. Here we can see the sample diagram shows the details as explained above. The second type of plan is floor plans. The choices and the tastes of people have changed in this technology era, where they prefer different plans in the different floors of the same multi-story building. Hence, floor plans are differently chosen to construct attractive and multi-facilitated. The floor plans have to be prepared for all the floor in a building if they vary in design. If the same floor plan is repeated one over the other, as in case of multi-storied buildings, then only one plan is sufficient. The floor plan gives information about general arrangement of various rooms, size of each room, that is length and breadth of room, thickness of wall, location and position of doors, windows, ventilators, lofts, sunshades and cupboards. Each room is shown with the major furniture arrangements. For example, in bedroom, the position of beds, wardrobe, dressing table, study table, chair, side tables, etc. And sanitary fittings in bathrooms are also shown. In kitchen, the placement of range, sink, refrigerator, etc. may be shown. Then the placement of electrical fittings such as wall bracket, pendant lamp, bell, telephone, fans, AC, etc. may also be shown. It is important to show the direction in which the door windows open, and also placement of columns, beams and trusses are shown with appropriate symbols. Here we can see the sample diagram shows the details as explained above. The third one is cross-section plans. Cross-section plan is a view of a building obtained by making an imaginary cut through it. This plan is important for the contractor and supervisor for executing the construction work at the site. The architects give the constructional details in these plans. It shows the size and type of footing of foundation below ground level, heights of basement, columns, walls, etc., and floor level and roof level of the building, depth of roof beams and lintel beams, and thickness of roof slab, lofts and sunshades. There may be one or more cross sections prepared by the architect if there is any level differences in the building. Here we can see the sample diagram which shows the details of the explained above. Next is fourth type of plan is elevation plans. Elevation plans show the relative proportions of different parts of structure to each other and to the entire facade of the structure. The various parts should harmonize with each other to give pleasing appearance. Elevation plans are usually flat. They do not show the perspective. The near and distant objects are shown to their actual size. It shows the external features of the building such as type and location of windows, design and location of balconies and the roof lines. Elevation is drawn not only for the front but also sides. For example, house in a corner plot has two sides facing roads. Therefore, both the facades should look pleasing and the designer takes care to see that the house looks beautiful from both sides. The details of some intricate and important parts are also shown on a large scale for guidance and clarity of the person who supervises the work and the artisans who execute the work. The next type of plan is perspective plan. A perspective plan gives a pictorial view, that is, photographic representation of a proposed house. These plans are prepared by architects to make the clients to understand how the house will look from outside after completion. Sample diagram shows the details as explained above. The last type of plan is landscape plan. It gives details about the plan for the land surrounding the house. It shows paths and car drives, plants, trees, water bodies, rockery, outdoor game, lawns and flower beds, swimming pool if any, all these things. The landscape plan is designed to enhance the beauty of the house and its surroundings. It creates an atmosphere which reflects the taste of the people. The environment around the house has to be planned in such a way that to give a feeling of neatness and beauty and elevates the surrounding of a house above normal. A preconceived landscape helps to place the house in appropriate position so that the house and landscape complement each other. Now let us summarize the above session. As discussed, the plans are the above discussed plans are necessary for both legally and also for making the client happy. In all the plans, that is in site plan, we saw that what are all the legal requirements of the building. In floor plan, what are the requirements of the building is necessary for as per the requirements of the client, and in section plan it is necessary to execute the given building, that is the given plan for the site supervisors, and then in elevation plan how it look like, and in perspective plan also the same thing, how the plan look like after completing the building, and in landscape plan how the building can be designed beautifully with the requirements of the client.